JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 5th of October 2020. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So yep, it'll take you to this page, which we update on a daily basis. Now, jumping into the charts, quick update on what's happening here with the German index. DAX here, you can see that opened nicely to the upside with a gap here. However, still remains below that 21-day EMA, shown as the yellow line here. So I talked a lot about that last week, and basically what I was saying, that as long as this area here, this 21-day EMA together with this 12,873 barrier continues to provide resistance, then yep, there is still we should be careful here with the upside. Now, if we do get a pop above this area, then yes, of course, higher levels could be met. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, more buyers could be joining in. But again, at the moment, it seems that the index is struggling with this area, but as always, also we cannot really talk about the downside, because ideally, now previously I talked about this 12,505 zone, but we could start looking at this low here, the low of last week near the 12,540 territory. We could start off from here already, and if we get a nice drop below it, then yep, lower levels could be met. So basically for now, guys, again, similarly to what I was saying this morning, we are a bit in the waiting zone where we need some confirmation breaks before we could kind of consider the next directional move here. Now, jumping into Dow Jones Industrial Average, and here I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but basically what I was saying previously, that if we get a push above this 27,606 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, of course, higher levels could be met. As you can see, the index continued to travel higher last week and found resistance near, just slightly above that psychological 28,000 zone, near the 28,041 zone, and then kind of on Friday we saw this correction to the downside, but as you can see, it still remained above the 21-day EMA. So basically how we could look at this one right now is, first of all, we'll take a look at the cash index and where it's currently balancing at, and we can see that the price is currently sitting at around 27,900 zones. So basically it's above Friday's close, but still below last week's high. So it's stuck around here in this little territory. So if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, you could wait for a push above that high of last week, because as you can see, we're already above Friday's high, but not the high of last week. So in order to get a little bit more excited about the upside, wait for that pop above this area, and then yep, higher levels could be met. Initially, what we're going to aim here for is this 28,365 zone, marked by the high of the 16th of September, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe it could even go towards this 28,733 territory, or even above that. But again, like I said, for now, be very careful here. In terms of the downside, if we want to look at some lower levels, well, preferably a drop below Friday's low, or even better actually, a drop below last week's low, which is roughly around the 27,338 zone here, could do the trick for more sellers, and we could see them potentially pushing the price towards this downside line, which we've broken last week, and we could test it from above this time. So yep, keep your eyes on this, keep your eyes on these two levels, and like I said, currently we are closer to this to the high of last week rather than the low of last week. So if we get a nice push above it, then yes, this is where a few more buyers could join in. Now, quick update on DXY, and this is what I talked about this morning. This morning I was saying that keep your eyes on this area right here, because if this area right here, this 93.81 zone, together with the 21-day EMA, will fail to provide support, then yes, we could see this one drifting lower. However, don't get me wrong, let's see if the scenario of Thursday of last week will not repeat itself, where we had a false breakout here. As you can see, the daily candle kind of ended up being above this 21-day EMA. So let's see how all this is going to play out. If this daily candle remains below this 21-day EMA, then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a further decline here. I'll jump into a few pairs just right now, which are, you can see, have the USD in it, so that's where it could be quite interesting. So, but again, for now, this indicator here, being the US dollar, this index here, is kind of drifting lower. Let's see if it stays here today below this 21-day EMA. If it does, then yep, lower levels could be met. Now, jumping into gold, gold is actually taking, of course, is taking advantage of the weaker dollar, and you can see that yes, it's rising here, pushing higher. However, be very careful for now, because we're still below this 21-day EMA and below both of these downside lines. Although both tentative, nevertheless, still these downside lines are in play. So if we get a breakthrough for both of these, then yes, of course, we could consider maybe higher levels. But at the moment, yes, we are rising here, and gold is pushing higher, but it does have a bunch of obstacles here on the way higher. So if it manages to overcome all of these, then yes, this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers. Now, jumping into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin here is also pushing slightly to the upside, not much, of course. And let me just actually clear up this chart a little bit, because let me have a fresh start. Now, of course, at the moment, if we look at this picture, we might see a potential symmetrical triangle forming here. So let me just put this one on the chart right here, this is where we're going to draw the other one right there. There we go. Or if you want, you can actually take it from the shorter term, a shorter term one here, taken from the high of the 19th of September. Either way, if this downside line gets broken, this short-term one taken from the high of the 19th of September, if that gets broken, still the price would need to overcome this other downside line, this one taken from the high of the 17th of August. So in other words, basically a breakthrough both of these, that only after a break of both of these, we'll consider actually higher levels, because again, just to be on the safe side, guys. In terms of the downside, of course, yes, a break below this upside line here could do the trick for more sellers, especially if also the if the price falls below the low of last week here, near the 10,391 zone. A drop below this could yep, open the door towards lower areas. But again, for now, we're stuck here. It seems that the crypto is coiling up, so let's be very careful and keep our eyes on these lines, the two downside lines and the one short-term upside one. Now jumping into a few pairs, and this is where I was saying that I'll jump into a few I'll look at these three pairs which have the USD in them, and here you can see that the USD JPY is trying to move higher, but this 105.70 level that I spoke about last week, it continues to provide resistance, and although we did have a nice push higher, still this barrier is the one to watch. I've mentioned this one last week because what I was saying that we need to see a nice daily candle kind of remaining above this area, breaking of course first of all, and then remaining above it, because we keep getting these false breakouts. So we would like to see the daily candle kind of staying above it, and then yes, pushing. This could help push this one, this pair higher. But at the moment, like I said, it is what it is. We are at a very tricky spot, so let's be very careful, and then yes, then we could aim for some higher levels. But at the moment, we'll probably take a bit of a neutral stand, because we can't really even talk about the downside until we see a drop back below this 105.30 zone. So keep your eyes on these two levels. AUD USD, and here you can see that the in this pair, just coming back a little bit here, US dollar is pushing higher against the Japanese yen, just because the yen is a little bit on the weaker side, because we are currently in kind of risk on in trading environment. Equities are gaining today, so basically that's kind of pushing the Japanese yen to the downside, and although DXY is moving lower, still it's slightly stronger than its Japanese counterpart. So and here, for example, we can see that AUD, the AUD USD, is also trying to make its way higher. However, this one seems to be struggling a little bit. Now, again, if it could make its way a little bit more higher here, but it could make its way a bit more to the upside. But keep your eyes on this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of September, because if it provides resistance, then yes, another round of selling here could be possible. So also the fact that it is currently getting a hold up here by this 21-day EMA. Now that kind of makes us a little bit worried. However, of course, it will depend if DXY will also continue drifting lower, and then yes, AUD USD could travel further north. You could keep an eye on this barrier right here, the 0.7192 zone, which continues to provide resistance, and that's marked by the low of the 9th of September, and if we get a nice pop above it, then yes, like I said, it could open the door towards this downside line. Now, in case this 21-day EMA is too much for this pair to handle, and the pair then reverses back down, keep your eyes on the low of the 20th of August here, marked by the 0.7136. A nice drop below it could lead this pair towards some lower levels. And finally, Euro USD. So here the pair is moving nicely to the upside, but again, everything is for now according to the plan. What I was talking about previously today, this morning, and last week as well, that yes, could see higher levels, but keep your eyes on this downside line. We cannot really aim for higher levels until we see that nice, good, strong break above this downside line first. This downside line is taken from the high of the 1st of September, and if we get that strong move above it, then this is where maybe more buyers could join in. But again, for now, we're just observing it. Also, we're not excluding the possibility of seeing maybe a false breakout here as well. So yeah, guys, for now, be very careful, and just probably the best thing is to observe it, because as you can see, we are already breaking this downside line. So let's see if this daily candle can stay above this line. Now, I hope you found it useful, guys. Thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. I really appreciate your time. Like I said, I hope you found it useful. And if you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Trader's Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful trading evening if you're still trading, and a nice, beautiful evening for everyone. So yeah, see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.